Hi, this is Rich Harrington for Producing Video Podcast, and we're here with Matt Redmond from Mackie. They make mixers and audio equipment. So, Matt, obviously video podcasters also need audio to go along with it. Many people are setting up a studio. What does somebody need if they're going to be putting in a studio type environment? What are some features they should be looking for in a mixer?
Well, the most key thing that you need is something that's sort of the center to everything. You think about the number of inputs and outputs that you're going to actually need for that studio, even the amount of desktop space. Maybe you don't need a giant mixer and you don't need to spend beyond your budget. So we've got a couple different offerings that I can show you that are the kind of feature sets I think your guys are looking for.
So obviously you bring up the point of the number of inputs and outputs. People sometimes forget you're not just recording maybe a voice. What are some other types of inputs that are offered on the mixers?
Well, maybe you want to dump some iTunes in real quick. Of course you can do that digitally. Vinyl, you can't do that digitally, so you need to transfer that. Might need an RIA preamp for that, an actual phono preamp, and some of the pieces of gear that we make have that in it as well. So whatever it is, maybe you make your own music, keyboards, drum machines, etc. So beyond just having microphone preamps, having a few line channels is also key.
And what type of connection types are important, you think, for a video producer to be looking for?
Balanced quarter-inch are the professional audio connections and XLR for microphones, balanced quarter-inch cables for line devices. So those are the two type of connections that you'll see on our devices.
Let's take a look at some of the products you have and walk us through some of the recommendations. Okay?
Sounds good. Let's start out with the Mackie 802, for example. This is a mixer that doesn't actually connect directly to your computer, but we've been in the mixer business for nearly 20 years. Greg Mackie started out with effectively what is now known as the VLZ3 series today. And our two new additions to that series are the 402 and 802. So the 802 has on it, in an area where you have power, it's not a field mixer, but that is one key thing, or for a desktop where you're just going to run out of the mixer into your computer by an analog connection. We've got 3 microphone preamps on this guy and a couple stereo line channels, so you can record up to 3 voices in one single pass. Everything comes out the main mix. You're going to need to blend it all together and stick it into the computer, but that's certainly one offering that we have for you.
And a lot of people get confused with the preamps. What should they be using them for?
Well, let me tell you, we'll take a quick walk down. When you stick a microphone cable into the top of the mixer, what the preamp actually is the knob that says gain, typically at the top of the mixer. That's your initial source where you take what is typically a really quiet microphone level and you turn it up to what's an appropriate level for the device. That's the initial gain stage, and that's the most important one as well. After that, you have a few simple things like EQ, high adjustments, mid adjustments, low adjustments. Sometimes turning up a little bit at 12 kilohertz or 2.5 kilohertz will give you that added vocal clarity that you're looking for. 80 hertz is a great frequency, being a very low frequency for men, particularly to make them sound a little bit more barrel-chested or compressed. Also, of course, you've got all your levels down at the bottom where, depending upon the various levels of the speaker, you establish the actual mix phase. So that's it. You turn your gain up here, and then the rest of it's just mixing.
So now we're looking at a mixer that does connect directly to the computer digitally?
That's correct. It's got a FireWire connection on the back. It's what's called a 2x2 interface that's built into the mixer. What that means is that you get stereo into the computer and stereo out of the computer back to your studio monitors.
And what sort of platforms does this work with? Mac, PC?
Mac, PC, everything you need it to work with. We've got Vista drivers on the way for it as well. It works all the way up to 10.5.4. I've got it running at another station at this trade show on 10.5.4 right now. So,
what sort of applications does this work well with?
It works, the short answer is everything but Pro Tools. So, of course, we have our own recording software, which is Traction 3, and it works with basically everything else you would need to use it with, whether that's soundtrack or whatever application you're using for video work.
What's different about this mixer than compared to the analog mixer that you're seeing?
Well, this mixer actually has a very similar feature set. It might look a little funny out of the gate because it's kind of DJ style. You've got some up faders on it instead of the other typical style that you're used to. And even over on the right, a crossfader, which also doubles as a DJ fader as well, if you've got a couple different music sources, but can be just as easily used if you're transferring something analog from a video deck or doing a vinyl transfer. You can actually put it right in the middle if you want, and then they're both piping through at the same time. And then instead of having the main fader on the right and the main master section, we basically have this micro master section in the center where your volume control all takes place with this one simple knob, and a couple of the other routing options appear here as well. Headphone options, firewire in, how loud the return from the computer is actually coming into the mixer. Phantom power as well is another key built onto the mixer. A lot of small, inexpensive mixers don't have that.
Because this is obviously a very different design to a mixer that a Video Pro is used to. It looks like he included a lot of features that pros are used to having, but in a way, this is sort of designed for a new generation of media pros.
I think so. I would position it as an entry-level product. It's not challenging to use. Once you get a feel for where all the knobs are on it, it's going to be, your next new mixer.
And a lot of pros aren't using mixers. I mean, they're setting up studios, they're plugging mics right into the camera. I guess, I obviously know the benefit, but for people who aren't super experienced here, why do they need a mixer?
It's added control is the main thing. You can get signal from one place to another, but the benefits of EQing, being able to mix various levels on the fly, it's if you want that extra level of control, if it's field recording, that's where the mixer is key. And in a production studio like we have built right here, you have to have one. You've got audio coming in from the computer, you've got voice coming in, you need to mix all the two together, whether it's input, output, or both at the same time that you're trying to hear. You get more features and more bang for your buck when you go with a mixer instead of a standalone interface.
So what does this sell for out here, a mixer like this?
The U420D goes for $249 street price.
Okay. So if you go out to any store, that's what it should be listed at on the shelves.
That's basically it. You'll see a higher price than that listed, and then most of the dealers will just show you what the list price or street price is, and that's what you should be paying for it.
And you have other models in this line as well?
There's another one just called the U420, and that's primarily a keyboard mixer, line mixer. If you want to transfer vinyl, do music production in your house, drum machines, keyboards, sequencers, it's more targeted at an electronic musician type of artist, but it can still work in the studio.
But the D1 is great for microphone inputs and things like that.
Correct. If you're either a DJ or a podcast or a video producer, the U420D is the mixer you're looking for.
Great. Well, Matt, thank you very much. These are great products. I'm sure our viewers would like to check them more out. Where can they go for more info?
Our website, Mackie.com, and any number of dealers out there. Our website actually has a Buy It Now feature on it where you can connect directly to dealers in your area.
Okay. And this is a product that's got mass distribution at this point, so places like Guitar Centers, all that will have it?
Worldwide, Guitar Center included.
Good, good. All right, well, thanks very much for producing Video Podcasts. I'm Rich Harrington.